studio in Dubai can cost 180,000 US dollars. Drive a few minutes more and you'll find a villa listed for $60 million. But the strategy that doubles your money at one budget can quietly destroy your returns at another. So this video is a complete breakdown. 5 Dubai budgets from 200,000 up to 20 million US dollars and beyond. Nobody is sharing this on YouTube. Starting with the smallest budget, $200,000 or 735,000 dirhams. If your budget is close to 200,000 US dollars, here's the biggest mistake people make. They think this budget is for capital growth. And hoping for that is exactly where people start losing money. 700,000 dirhams or about 190,000 US dollars is roughly the minimum you need for a worthwhile investment in Dubai. Your real goal at this budget is stable rental income. The average yield across the city is around 5.7%. A good property gets you 7 to 8%. The best units reach close to 10%. Forget about value growth at this budget. A property here can still rise in value, but realistically, it just moves with the market. It will not beat the market. At this price, a studio is the largest unit you can get. You'll find one-bedroom listings on Property Finder around 700,000 dirhams, but their low price is a red flag. If you invest in a cheap one-bedroom like that, you risk losing value over time. For a real one-bedroom, the minimum is around 1 million dirhams, or 270,000 US dollars. And now let me tell you about 3 affordable areas that work well right now with projects that are available. All the projects I mentioned in this video, plus many more that we couldn't cover, are in our insider report. It contains project details, prices, rental projections, and everything you need to know to make an informed investment decision. You can scan the QR code or click the link below to get it. And the first affordable area I'm gonna talk about is downtown. Not the regular downtown. Downtown Jebel Ali. It's an early stage, undeveloped area at the currently remote part of Dubai. That's exactly why prices are low. It's right on Sheikh Zayed Road and already has a working metro station. It's next to Jebel Ali Free Zone, the UAE's largest free zone with more than 160,000 workers. Those workers, of course, contribute to the rental demand. The best projects here right now are from Imtiaz, and they're one of the top performing developers for investment returns in Dubai. And they also offer some of the best value at affordable prices. One-bedrooms in their projects in this area started around 260,000 US dollars. That's roughly 950,000 dirhams. And here's the interesting thing about this project's potential yields. The buildings nearby, the ones that already exist, are much worse quality. And even at their rental rates, Imtiaz project will deliver 7% gross yield. And it's a conservative estimate. With better build quality, fully furnished and fully designed units, the actual yield is gonna be higher. The next high potential affordable area is Arjan. It's 15 to 20 minutes from both Dubai Marina and downtown, with typical yields around 7 to 8%. And the recent events prove that prices in this area remain stable and rental demand stays strong even during downturns. Among projects available now, Bengadi Hillcrest is the best one. Bengadi is one of the fastest builders working in Dubai. Their average growth during construction is faster than average in Dubai, and they deliver pretty good rental returns. What makes this project interesting is that there is also a limited time offer, reduced studio prices, 4% DLD fee waiver, plus 40/60 payment plan. Handover is expected in Q1 2027. And last is Jumeirah Village Triangle, or JVT. It's across the road from JVC, Jumeirah Village Circle, but it feels different. Quieter, more open, and mostly built up with villas, which gives it a nicer feel. JVT is already 90% developed, and mostly low-rise. Any new apartment building here tends to get unusually clear open views. The best project here is Sol Levanta from developer Sol. This is one of the most experienced builders in Dubai. It was founded in 1975 and has more than 250 completed buildings as contractor. Studios in this project start at 242,000 US dollars, or 890,000 dirhams. We estimate potential gross yields here at around 6.7%. So these are the yields that you can expect in $200,000 budget tier, and don't expect rapid value appreciation. You can expect a much better value appreciation in the next budget tier though. But before we move to $550,000, here's why you should watch all 5 budgets, even the ones above your current number. The higher the total budget, the more lucrative the investment opportunities get. And it's not about just buying a more expensive unit. It's often about getting access to a strategy that simply doesn't exist at a lower budget. You'll see that clearly when we get to $2 million budget tier, where the most obvious option isn't necessarily the strongest one. The good news is that you can use property financing in Dubai even if you're a non-resident and even if you're buying off plan. So with the right approach, you can get a tenant who pays your mortgage while you're growing your equity. Now let's move to $550,000 or 2 million dirhams. And 550,000 isn't a random number. That happens to be the minimum needed to qualify for a golden visa. Most people who think about this budget invest just to get a visa. And that's exactly why they miss the better reason to invest at this level. The reasons to invest for a golden visa are obvious. 10 years of residency with no minimum stay requirement, coverage for your wife, kids, even if they're grown-ups, and your parents. You also get the right to sponsor visas for your domestic staff and some other perks. And to qualify on an off-plan property, you need to go for a $550,000 property, pay 20% down payment and 4% DLD fee, so you become eligible after you pay $130,000. But the visa is only one benefit. The other one is that the fast capital growth becomes achievable only at this budget. The thing is that this budget gives you access to early stage areas by top developers. The chance of strong growth is genuinely higher than anything available at $200,000. So what does $550,000 actually buy? Usually 1 to 3 bedroom apartment. It's rarely enough for a proper house. Go up to roughly $700,000 and townhouses become possible, but usually with a downside: a weaker layout, lower build quality, or a weaker developer. Beachfront, which was possible at this budget probably a year ago, is not possible anymore. But this budget is still the minimum entry point for one of the strongest growth strategies in Dubai: early stage master communities. Here's how it works. A major developer launches a new master community, and the first phase always has the lowest prices. Each phase after that launches roughly 3 to 6 months later, but every new launch is priced higher. The build quality doesn't change from phase to phase, so the prices of the already existing units go up to match the price of the newer ones. The Valley by Emaar is a great example of that. Let's take 4-bedroom villas that were launched in 2023. The price per square foot was around 1,000 dirhams or $270. The same villa type at a newer cluster that was launched in 2026 is priced 1,700 dirhams or roughly $470. That's about 75% higher. And over the same period of time, average villa prices across Dubai only increased by 40%. So buying into a master community during one of the first phases is a great strategy. Everything built around your unit afterward will increase its value too. One of the recent communities where this strategy can still work is the Yards from Beyond. It's part of the area called City of Arabia, and Beyond acquired a huge plot there, and they're gonna build a real full-scale master community with residential buildings, parks, lagoons, retail, and offices. 70% of the land is promised to be green space, and no cars will be allowed inside. Phase 1 sold out in a day. Phase 2 launched at 10% higher prices. So that's exactly the pattern I just described, and Beyond is gonna launch many more phases. 1 bedrooms in Phase 2 start at $330,000 or 1.2 million dirhams. 2 bedrooms start at $570,000 or 2.1 million dirhams. Watch for this same pattern with the other major developers, but only with those who build at a scale. Even if it's a master community, but a small master community, this strategy will not work. Emaar has more communities planned that haven't launched yet. Beyond is expanding past this first project. Nahil has Palm Jubilee coming, even though it's a higher budget. But the principle is the same: invest at the early phases. that covers both budgets under $1 million. And if you're seriously considering investing in UAE real estate, get a consultation with us. During our free consultations, we customize the strategies I talk about in this video to your specific case, your financial position, your investment horizon, your risk appetite. We find the best opportunities based on data and then execute the deal. We apply this approach at any budget, whether it's $200,000 or 20 million plus. Our brokers help individual first-time investors, and we help investment bankers on the team who have investment funds structure complex deals. So if you want to talk with me and my team, message us on WhatsApp. The link is below the video. Now let's move to $2 million budget. $2 million open up 3 real strategies in Dubai, and most investors completely miss the third one. The obvious strategy, the one I explained a lot on this channel, is growth through scarcity. Everybody knows beachfront is limited. Not just in Dubai, it's the same principle everywhere. In Dubai, beachfront makes up less than 5% of total supply, and historically, properties on Palm Jumeirah, Blue Waters, or Jumeirah Bay have shown some tremendous growth. But here is one important thing many investors miss. The truly scarce investment isn't beachfront. It's private beachfront. That takes you from 5% of supply to under 1%. And the desire to own one of those properties goes way higher. And this is where most of our clients invest right now. The most interesting opportunities for private beachfront are on Dubai Islands. Prices there are significantly lower than private beachfront in other parts of Dubai. It's normally ultra-luxury segment, but here on Dubai Islands, you can still get in at a fraction of what you'd pay elsewhere. Option number 1 is Cheval Residences. It's a single building with only 99 units, and 3 things make it different compared to other projects on the islands. It has a private beach reserved only for residents, it's radically limited in supply, and it has a full management by Cheval. They're a hospitality company with more than 40 years of experience, and every unit in this building comes fully serviced, fully furnished, and fully designed. 1-bedrooms here start at around $790,000 or 2.9 million dirhams. With $1.5 million, you can get a 2-bedroom. The second option is Sierra Phase 2 by Beyond. It's also on Dubai Islands, on the same strip of land, and Beyond is gonna launch the second phase soon. Beyond's master plan on Dubai Islands covers 2 million square feet. Over 70% of their territory is planned to be green space. Residents will have access to a 6-kilometer private beach and 10 kilometers of running and cycling paths. This phase hasn't launched yet, so the prices I'm gonna share, they're preliminary. They might change closer to the launch, but we expect 1-bedrooms to be at around $700,000 or 2.6 million dirhams. 2 beds should be around $1.2 million or 4.3 million dirhams, and 3 bedrooms will start at around $1.9 million. That's roughly 7 million dirhams. The second strategy in this budget tier, and almost nobody thinks about that before it's too late, is protection against downturns. Some types of properties are just more resilient than others. For example, during COVID, apartment rents across Dubai fell roughly 27%. Villa rents went down only 13%. And even with apartments, larger units dropped less than small ones. In Business Bay, 1-bed's rents went down by 25%, compared to 16% for 3 bedrooms. In downtown, it was 20% versus 8%. In Dubai Marina, 31%, compared to just 4%. And the reason is simple. It's about who rents these units. Bigger apartments go to families, and families are, in general, the most stable tenants, because they don't want to move once they've settled somewhere. We saw the same trend during the recent Iran conflict. Family units in communities like Creek Harbor and Shoba Heartland barely saw any drop in rent. So with $2 million, you can go for a townhouse in an early-stage master community from a trusted developer. This budget is not enough for a standalone villa, but it's enough for a strong townhouse. A good example is Grand Polo Club by Emaar. 4-bedroom townhouses there averaged around $435 or 1.6 thousand dirhams per square foot, so it's roughly $1.3 million or 4.6 million dirhams per townhouse. That specific project has already sold out, but it's exactly what to watch for next time something similar comes up. The third strategy is the one most investors don't even consider, even though data screams that you can't ignore this. I'm talking about commercial property and offices specifically. During the same recent conflict, office rents on new contracts dropped just 4%, compared to 9% for apartments. On renewals, office rental rates didn't move at all, while apartment rents still dropped 7%. And this isn't a one-time event. Top-tier office vacancies fell from 16% in 2029 to just 3.4% in 2025. Rents went up roughly 75% over the same period. The office supply is expected to increase by roughly 16%, but the number of companies in Dubai is gonna increase by 40%, so there is a huge supply and demand gap. The project worth knowing here is an office complex in Motor City. This complex is 6 standalone towers connected directly to a retail mall. In other global cities, especially with extreme weather conditions, office complexes like that have access to a mall have 95% plus occupancy rate. And this project is priced significantly lower than alternatives. The price per square foot is around $670 or 2,500 dirhams, compared to $1,200 or 4,500 dirhams for similar Grade A offices in Business Bay. That's almost half of the cost, and we estimate gross rental yields in this project to be around 8%. And that's a very conservative estimate, because the other options nearby are so much lower quality that there is no comparison. And even if we apply their rental rates, the gross yield is 8%. The smallest units in this complex start at around $1.4 million or 5 million dirhams. So that's the full picture at $2 million. Growth through scarcity, protection through family demand, and the office strategy. Now let's talk about $5 million. At $5 million, so roughly 18 million dirhams, the question changes completely. You are no longer choosing the property, you're building a portfolio. And a good, true portfolio isn't just a group of strong individual picks. It's about how those picks work together. A well-built portfolio mixes three things. First, different tenant types, so you're not entirely dependent on businesses, families, or visitors. Second, different areas, from early-stage locations with growth potential to established ones with stability. Third, different property types. The reason to mix all three is protection through different market cycles. Plus, it's easier to sell part of your portfolio if you ever need to. The specific goal is keeping the performance of each property as separate from the others as possible. You need to pick as non-correlating assets as possible. That's the real difference between diversifying and just buying more property. 3 studio apartments in the same tourist area will still leave your whole portfolio dependent on one thing: tourism. This one driver defines your returns. If tourism slows down, your residential and office properties would keep performing. The less connected your properties are to each other, the safer the whole portfolio becomes. To build and assess the portfolio, you can use a simple framework with 2 factors: who the renter is, business, resident, or visitor, and how much risk you're willing to take, from stable income to a higher growth potential. Here's what a $5 million version of that could look like. On the business side, there could be the Motor City office, the one we just discussed. So it's roughly $1.4 million. It has very high potential given how limited Grade A office space is and how far below market the pricing is. The risk is still low because even low-quality offices in the same area would rent at an 8% yield for this property. On the resident side, lower risk and lower return. Here could be a townhouse in the Mars Grand Polo Club. A 4-bedroom townhouse is priced at $1.3 million. Emaar is the largest developer in the UAE. Grand Polo is a family-focused master community priced at its earliest phase, so it's a low risk. Next could be Sol Levante, a 1-bedroom around $350,000. Also huge reliable developer, and GVT is a developed area. Number 3 is Hillgate by Ellington, like a 2-bedroom, around $330,000. It's also a well-established developer, and the location already has significant renter demand, and there are strong reasons for growth, like metro station. Also on the resident side, but higher risk and higher returns. Here could be Raw District by Imtiaz. A studio is around $190,000. It's an early location, potential for price growth, and rental demand tied to nearby office development. Next, a one-bedroom in Shebal Residences on Dubai Islands. Private beach, 99 units, full hospitality management. Dubai Islands are still very early into development, that's why we place it on a higher risk, higher potential side. The next one could be the Yards by Beyond. A one-bed there is around $300,000. It's also an early phase in the new master community. And now let's go to the visitor side. I would completely ignore low-risk, low-returns quadrant because it's just not worth it. So we discuss higher risk and higher returns. And there I'd place Sierra by Beyond. A one-bedroom is around $680,000. This project will have private beach access, hotel-level facilities, and Dubai Islands as a destination is gonna become one of the main tourist destinations in the city. However, if diversification isn't your goal, and you'd rather commit to one long-term investment, but that will pay off significantly, then there is one project you should know about. It's Island E Villas of Dubai Islands. Island E is a fully detached, villa-only private island with only about 150 villas. It'll be open to residents only, with no hotels, no apartments, no shops, no tourists. And it'll have a completely private shoreline. This place is specifically designed for high-net-worth individuals seeking privacy. If you compare that to already 5-bedroom villa on Palm Jumeirah, then there the price is around $13 million. On Pearl Jumeirah, a similar villa is $10 million. Because this area is super early stage, the gap between this and ready alternatives is huge. So we have clients who put down expressions of interest months ago, and they're ready to wait as long as needed before this project launches, because this opportunity is one of a kind. I think you got the idea, and the Island E example should make it obvious, is that higher budgets give you more opportunities. But $20 million is a completely different game. Above $20 million, something changes that doesn't happen at any lower budget. You stop being the one who accepts the market price, and you start being the one who sets it. Here is how it works. What you do is buying in bulk, and buying in bulk gives you 3 real advantages. The first one is straightforward. You buy an entire floor, several floors or a whole building, and developers will typically offer a real discount. That means that the deal is kinda profitable at the moment you buy, before the market even moves. Here is a bit simplified, but a real example from the past. So a developer was selling units at $500 per square foot, and they offered the client a 20% discount for a 2-floor purchase. That brought the price down to $400. Then the market rises, say 20% during construction. So the market price moves to around $600 per square foot. That's a $200 per square foot paper gain, 50% return on the price. Now here's the extra layer. The building is under construction, so the investor hasn't paid the full price yet, so they decide to sell below market, say at $550 per square foot. Because they got that bulk discount, they are still making a strong profit, and because the price is below market, units move fast. In the real case, the whole selling process played out in a few months after making the decision. But there is another big advantage that bulk buying gives you. It's control over supply. If you own enough of a development, you control how many units hit the market. That means no risk of adding too much supply and lowering your own prices. With no competing supply, the price you set becomes the market price. This only works with property that's generally unique, really demanded, and when there is no similar buildings nearby. And the third advantage applies if you buy an entire building. Every unit can be rented short-term. Effectively, you turn the building into a hotel. And for an individual investor, Dubai charges no tax on rental income and no VAT on residential rent. So this allows to avoid the taxes that are paid by commercial property owners. But bulk buying isn't the only play in this budget. The second approach is structuring the investment directly with the developer in one of three ways. Number one is construction financing. You can basically directly fund the project. Similar to giving a loan, with a good developer, the risk is low, but the returns are significantly higher compared to traditional investment options like bonds. Number two is what we call investment contracts. Here is how it works. The developer sets aside units for you at a discount, then sells them on your behalf. Once the market has moved up, you pay the developer for some units. 10, 20, 30 units. This should be a big purchase. But they don't do the transfer of the ownership. They keep owning the units, but they set them aside for you. And when the market moves up, they sell them on your behalf. This gives you as an investor both the initial discount and the growth in value that follows. And number three is joint ventures. It's a direct partnership with the developer. When you contribute your own money into construction, it's normally done through investing money in the land where they build. And then you share the returns once the project is complete. With a financially strong developer that sells out fast, it's one of the more predictable structures available, and it often performs better than traditional investments. So that's the full breakdown, and wherever your budget falls, there is a specific right move for it. And if you want to talk through your own budget, contact me and the team directly for a free consultation. And if you're still gathering information before settling on your budget, watch this video next.